Hello, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. So, I'm going to do a message for all signs. I may pull a couple signs later to see like specific ones, right? But yeah, this is going to be a reading for all signs. It's going to be kind of a message that I got this morning. Um, so, this may not resonate for everyone. Take what fits. If it doesn't fit, it's not for you. Share it. Might be for someone else. So, how do I want to jump into this? Okay, so the message I got was you learned this lesson already. You going through this lesson again was the test. You didn't pass this test. 111. You failed this test. So what do you do now? You passed this test and you passed this lesson before, right? And it's like whatever the situation was, it came up again. And it was a test. The whole time it was a test. Maybe you got in your head, your emotions got a little out of whack, spiritually, whatever. But what do you do now, right? What do you do now that you, okay, maybe you failed that lesson, but does that mean that you just completely give up? No, absolutely not. There's deeper layers to everything, right? So it's like there's deeper layers to this lesson that reappeared in your life that you did not successfully pass. It's like there's a deeper layer within the lesson. That's why it came back up again, right? But it's still the same thing. I hope this is making sense. What I got out of that was like, we have to flow with the changes, right? We have to be aware. We have to understand humanity as a whole, the collective consciousness. And there's been without a doubt, a significant shift in the way people treat each other, right? Granted, there's a lot less veils around, right? So it's like people's true natures really are right in front of people. Just depends on what kind of, arsenal you have in your toolbox to see through, weed through the illusions, the deception. You have to ride for you the way that you have been riding for others, okay? Everybody wants a ride or die, but when push comes to shove, it's like nowadays people don't even know what ride or die even means, right? 333. It's like there's no, the code is like missing everywhere, girl code, guy code. I'm just talking about people code, like human code. The issue is too, there's just more than just humans here, right? And a lot of these other species kind of they look just like humans, they feel just like humans. Don't get caught up in the way that things used to be. Like, well, it used to be like that. There used to be, trust, and there used to be this code, right? This where it's like, well, you said you were gonna ride for me, so why don't you ride for me? You know what I mean? And like we can't get caught up in like that's the way that it used to be. I find myself feeling the same way too. Just especially like the disrespect that people and the illusions and just people just trying to set people up for a fucking dollar. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know. I think maybe it's just how I grew up or just the mindset that I have, but I wouldn't even fathom stepping to some people the way that some people step to some people. Like that, get your shit rocked for that. At least you used to, right? So what does that speak about? Does that speak about like our lack of boundaries, right? Does that speak about our lack of like self-love? I don't know. I think it's like a deeper thing with humanity. You know what I mean? Like there's it's you in source. At least that's what I've been learning. You know, that's not to say to be distrustful and live in a state where you don't trust anyone or anything, right? That's not the point either. But when your eyes are open to things, you can't unsee it. 555 it changes everything. Once your perception gets flipped and you see things in a certain way, universal energy, and you see things in a certain way, it's like you can't ever go back to thinking like that ever again, right? It's like the people that you'd stick your neck out for, unfortunately, those day ones or whatever, very few and far between, but unfortunately these are the same people that are just going to stab you right in the neck, right? It's like people want to see how far you'll stick your neck out for them, just for them to stab you. And I feel like with this Libra full moon, there's a lot of enemies that were like not hidden in plain sight, are just right there out in the open. And just lessons regarding like our relationships to ourselves, our relationships with others, and how they shape ourselves, and how they really just shape everything, you know, from our very first relationship, you know, to our mother in the womb, to source, you know, to our friendships and whatever. It's like there's a deep truth that you'll uncover this weekend with this lunar transit, this full moon in Libra. And it's going to be the catalyst to help bring balance back into your life again. It's not going to be pretty. We have Pluto involved here. So it's going to be deep, but it's for the best, right? Because there's a need to regenerate. There's a need to rebirth, right? It's kind of like, this is dead. It's fucking dead. You can't revive this anymore. Get away. The heartbeat. Where's the heartbeat? The heartbeat's gone missing. So don't get caught up in the way things used to be, right? Don't get caught up in the way that things once were in your relationships. You know, everything changes. Are we adaptable enough? And at the rate things are changing now, compassion. Do you have enough compassion towards yourself? Because with universal energy here, it's like you were tapped into the universal energy, the collective consciousness. It's like you know exactly what it is, right? It's like the collective purge, the collective shadow work. That all sounded great, right, in the beginning. Until we started doing it, and it's like, oh my god, you know, and everybody is just going fucking nuts on top of everything else. But really, if you get that bird's eye view, it's the collective purge, right? The collective shadow purge. It's like, where have we given our power away, right? Where have we allowed that imbalance of power to come into our lives? And more so than that, why have we given so much trust? Still, like, why are we riding for certain energies that clearly don't ride for us? That clearly have ulterior motives, right? I believe it's Libra that rules like open enemies, right? And the seventh house is open enemies. So again, it's like this shit's not hidden, like you don't need to, dive deep and tap into your intuition. Like you feel this, like you feel it in your heart. Like you can feel the collective energy in your heart, the universal energy in your heart, right? And don't give your power away, especially if you're a sensitive soul, sentient, sensitive, psychic, all those PS words. um, it's very hard to find compassion when you can kind of see. It's hard, yes, but then it's also not hard when you can see that it's like a collective shadow purge, right? And you can see the soul snatching going on, right? Whether this is, locally, or this is kind of globally as well too. Um, the soul snatching going on, right? Yeah, there's just been such a deep shift, and I think this has happened over time. I think maybe I've just it's come to my attention for a reason, right? And the more that I do this, and the more that I share with the universe, with YouTube, with the internet, um, it's like the more I'm connecting, right? So I'm building that relationship, you know? And at the end of the day, as much as I want to ride for the collective, as much as I want to ride for everybody else, I have to ride for me first, right? And it's all about making that choice. It's not like we don't know this. You know what I mean? Just a matter of making a choice. And sometimes we get so scared or so trapped up in our own mind and our thoughts and, whatever the excuse is, whatever the reason. And it's like we want, we're like, everyone's like looking around for like that leader, like, please lead me out of this. Like, no. That's the whole point of this, is for you to make the choice, for you to stand up, and you to be the leader of your own life. That's the point. It's a choice. You have a choice to ride for you, right? You have a choice to live your life and not have life live it for you. And it's not going to change overnight, and it's not some magic formula. It's a lot of hard work that goes into doing this, into integrating the shadow, into having compassion with yourself, right? So when you do repeat lessons, you don't backtrack yourself even further, right? Because sometimes we do have to go back in order to move forward. Sometimes we have to get dragged all the way back, right, in order to bolt forward. And like that's the energy, But it's like this hidden layer, right? It's like, no, we're not all one. Are we all connected? Yes, I believe so. I don't think we're all the same. Hell no, we are not all the same. Mm-mm. And I think that could be a very dangerous viewpoint. You don't resonate, click off. Not everyone is the same, right? And I'm not talking about equal rights, stuff like that, because as human beings, we all have rights, and not only have they been stripped away from us, our true rights have been mocked, hidden, made illusions of, whatever. That's not the point here. The point is not getting caught up. The point is to be able to see the bigger picture, right? The point is, yes, as a being that can see and that can feel and that can know across time and space. Yes, you need to have compassion for yourself, and it's also like having compassion for the collective energy, the universal energy, and how do I want to say this? Not like you just need to like know what it is, right? Had you have the eyes to see? I say this all the time on my channel. Do you have the eyes to see? It's like the devil really is in the details and these illusions. Every distraction, everything is a distraction, right? Every single thing. You know, we're not even seeing half the things that we see, right? So can you even imagine the distractions, right? The things that we're absorbing, like physically, energetically, through our eyes, through our nose, through our senses, everything, 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 everything. It's like you play such an integral part in society, right? In the collective energy, the universal energy as a whole. And it's this symphony, and I talk about this symphony a lot too. But it's like the deeper layer to the lessons, but it's all the same thing, okay? So it's perspective. But this is the type of perspective, again, with Pluto, Plutonic energies. This is the type of perspective that you don't ever come back from this again. It literally fucking changes everything. 1616. Double tower, right? Like, pay attention, right? Pay attention to the foundations that you are building. Pay attention to the foundations you have built. Pay attention to the foundations that are crumbling around you, because there is a bigger energy it's speaking to. It's a deeper, more universal, more collective energy that's going on, right? You know, the divide and conquer is a very old technique. And as I was saying, like, my frustration with the, you know, people just don't ride for people like they used to, you know, there's no ride or dies, or, it's just not fun and games anymore, right? But that's a good thing, because you're waking up, and it's not all roses, but you can plant a whole garden of roses where there isn't one. And that's not to say that you'll never meet someone that will ride for you or whatever. You know what I mean? I hope I'm getting this message across the way that it should. I trust that it will. It's like you needed to relearn this lesson one more time. Look at this. Love. Yeah. Very much could do with a love relationship. Yeah. Communication and intuition. Yeah. It's like, wow. It's like your intuition is like the main conduit of communication. That's you and Source, you and God. And it's like you learned this lesson about your love life, about your relationships, and it was like one particular, you know, you learn this lesson. This is giving me like the narcissist empath kind of thing, dynamic, where it's like you know this is wrong. Your intuition is screaming at you, no, 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 no. Why are you giving to someone, to something that is sucking you dry? It's just stealing the life force from you. And if you look around at all the structures that have been crumbling, that have been falling, if you look at all the division through whatever new tactic, I can't even keep up because they're coming out with new tactics every day. You really can see how it's like a takeover, right? They want to talk about some alien invasion, but it's like it can jump through your physical vessel, right? This is a vessel. This is a home for the soul. And I think it's like that realization that this is a vessel, this is a home for the soul, and that if we don't protect it, right, and if we don't strengthen our auric hygiene and our vibrations, how easy it could be for one soul to jump into the next vessel. And I'm getting the feeling that it's like either that particular realization I just said, 2020, is going to make someone see clearly, or something very similar on that same level of depth and intensity. It's like your eyes are going to be wide open and you're going to see something for the first time. But it's going to be about a lesson that you already learned, right? But you're going to understand like why you didn't fully pass, right? It's like, maybe you didn't fail, maybe you failed, whatever. Pass or fail, it does matter because you wouldn't be doing the lesson again. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're gonna understand why you had to repeat this lesson, and it's almost like it had to be done this way because it's just a whole nother playing field, right? It's like hopping into a different dimension, right? It's like this full moon in Libra, it has the capacity to give you realizations that will help you jump dimensions. Will help you ride for you. And will help you bring balance, will bring justice, will bring truth. You know, we shouldn't be fighting for retaliation or how to get back. We should be fighting for truth and for freedom. And I think this that's the energy that this full moon in Libra is giving. And you fight for that within yourself, right? Because it's like, if you look around you and observe your interactions, especially for this weekend, observe all your relationships, your public interactions, everything. There's so many hidden clues, and it's like the universal energy is so loud, like it's all in our frontal cortexes, right? Like we really can tap in if we clear the mind and the body and allow ourselves to. It's okay.